So our speaker for today is Riza Nasis Valencia, our digital workplace strategist for our Microsoft team.
Again, hi and good morning everyone. Welcome to our day one session for Power Automate. My name is Riza and I will be showing you how to get started with Power Automate. So the topics that we are going to cover for this session is an introduction to Power Platform, and we will also get to know what is Power Automate, a walkthrough of the Power Automate homepage, the different types of flows, quick demo, and the next steps. Okay, so let's start with Microsoft Power Platform. Microsoft Power Platform is a set of components that helps us to develop powerful solutions. So each of the component is powerful already, but it is better that we combine it with the other components so that you can build an end-to-end solution. So what are the key components of Power Platform? So these are, first, we have Power Apps, where it turns ideas into organizational solution by enabling everyone to build custom apps that solve business challenges. Next, we have Power BI, which helps us to make informed and confident business decisions by putting data-driven insights to everyone's hands. Next, we have Power Automate, which boosts business productivity by giving everyone the ability to automate organizational process. And lastly, we have the Power Virtual Agents, which easily builds chatbots to engage conversationally with your customers and employees with no coding required. Okay, so to begin with our session on Power Automate, let us watch this introduction video on Power Automate.
These days, there's a cloud service to do just about anything. Problem is, there's no good way to get your favorite apps to talk to each other, to connect them, and automate the tasks that are so time-consuming. Or is there? With Microsoft Power Automate, whether you start from a template or create your own multi-step flow across several apps, it's simple. Why constantly check email when you can get a text message whenever someone important emails you? Automating that means you can use that time to do other things. And Power Automate can really help get things connected. Say someone tweets about your company. Set up a flow that follows them, sends a nice reply, adds them to a spreadsheet that gets emailed to you for your approval, then adds their contact to Salesforce or Dynamics 365. You can also get and manage approvals using Power Automate on the web, your phone, or even right from your inbox. And this streamlined approval process works with data in SharePoint, Microsoft Dynamics 365, Twitter, MailChimp, and over 100 other services. And with the Power Automate app, you can monitor, manage, and create flows from anywhere. For tasks that need to happen now, like instantly blocking out the next hour in your calendar, we've designed flows that start with the tap of a button. How about that? That's technology talking together, working smarter, so you can work less and do more.
Okay, there you go. Next, we have what is Power Automate. So Power Automate is an automation tool. It is a way you can stitch actions and triggers in order to automate processes. It's about having computers manage repetitive tasks, and it allows anyone with knowledge of the business process to create a repeatable flow that, when triggered, leaps into action and performs the process. So what can we expect from Power Automate? So aside from the list that we have here, we can also do instantly respond to high priority notifications or emails. You can capture, track, and follow up with new sales leads. You can copy all email attachments to your OneDrive or business account. You can collect data about your business and share that information with your team. And lastly, you can automate approval workflows. Okay, so let's have a quick demo on the Power Automate. So there are different ways on how you can access Power Automate. You can go to flow.microsoft.com. So I am here in the Power Automate homepage. If you are not signed in, this is the page that you are going to see. So there are a couple of things that I'd like to point out so that you can check them out in your time so that we don't have to do it here together. So first, there is an overview video that you can watch, like this one, which will get you introduced to some of the ideas and concepts in Power Automate. And then as we go down the page, we'll get some information on what Flow can do for us. Then we also have customer success stories that you can check on and how they use Power Platform to create a powerful solution to help transform their businesses. Okay, so you can either sign in with your account, or another way for you to log in is by using or by going to office.com. Okay, and then sign in with your credentials. And then it will lead you to the Office portal. If you're not seeing the Power Automate here, you can click on the All Apps. There, you will see the Power Automate. And if you are in any other app in the Office 365 ecosystem, for example, you are in Word and you want to get to Power Automate, you can click on the App Launcher, this one, to view the rest of the applications that are available to you. Okay, so now let us click on Power Automate. So now here we are in the Flowmaker portal. This is where we make all the stuff happen. So there are a few sample automation that you can try, like this one. And there are templates arranged in verticals. This one we have for remote work. We have for email, notifications, and etc. Okay, so for more ideas, you can click on the template. So templates help you build flows by making a few configuration changes. You can actually use the template, especially if you're just getting started with Power Automate. This is a good way to start on how you can automate things. Like for example, this one, you can click this and then it will show you a description of the connectors that will be used for this flow. And then you just go ahead and create the flow and then edit it if you want to add another action. Okay, so now that we've already seen what templates are, we can go to connectors. Okay, so connectors naman, this is where you see all the different connectors that are available to you. So there are more than 300 connectors that you can connect out of the box. And if the connector that you need is not listed here, you can build a custom connector. So building a custom connector is not easy, but it is possible. Okay, again, with connectors, you can search here for the different connectors that you want. So for example, I want SharePoint, and then search it here, and then click it. Then you can see the different triggers that you can use. Okay, so the possibilities of creating workflows are endless. You just have to know the business processes and create triggers and actions for your workflows. So speaking of triggers, what are triggers? So it determines the start of the flow. So parang trigger is when this happen, I want this to be the action. Okay, so yun, that is the trigger. So for example, when a file is created, I want to, for example, save it in OneDrive or in another SharePoint folder. Okay, so that's how trigger works. Okay, so let us now go to flows. So there are different types of flows that you can create. There is an automated flow. So yung automated flow, it creates an automation that is triggered by an event such as arrival of an email from a specific person, or if a mention from your company in social media. So yon, that is how automated workflows work. Okay, we also have instant workflows where it starts the automation with the click of a button. So you can automate for repetitive tasks from your desktop or your mobile devices. Then we also have scheduled flows where you can schedule an automation such as daily data upload to SharePoint or database, or you can also use scheduled flow. For example, you want to schedule an email every week, let's say Friday, to all of your team to submit their reports. So you can trigger it using scheduled flow. Then we also have UI flows. It records clicks and keyboard strokes from your desktop and web app to automate the playback of manual steps on legacy software. Then we also have business process flow, which ensures that everyone in the company follows the same process by defining a set of steps for people to follow. Okay, so enough with this. Let us try to create a simple flow using a template. Okay, so you can either click here or select from the different templates that we have here. Okay, so let us try this one. So again, it gives you the description of what the flow does. So this one, it saves the email attachments to OneDrive for Business. Okay, so it will connect to your Office 365 and your OneDrive for Business. So you must be signed in so that it will work properly. So when you decided that you want to use this, you just go ahead and create the flow. Okay, so when you create a flow, the next screen will be like this. You will have the details of the flow, and then the run history, and then the connections and the owner of the flow. If you want to edit it, you can click on edit. And then if you want to check on, let us wait. If you want to check on what's in this flow, you can click, and then you can expand these components to see what are the actions and what are the triggers in this flow. Okay, so the trigger here is the on new email, and the action is this one, create a file. Okay, so if you are satisfied with this one, let just save it. Or you can also, for every flow that you create, you can use the flow checker to check if if there is an error with your flow. And if there is, you will also be notified here of which errors are there in your flow and how to correct it. Okay, so meron tayong correction, parang suggestion here in the flow checker. And then you can also use this one, the test button, to test this flow. Okay, so for this one, let me just perform the trigger action and then click on test. Okay, so what happened? So diba, the condition for this one is that when you, or the trigger for this one is that when you receive an email, it will save to OneDrive for Business. So let us try. I will try to send an email to myself, and let us see if I will, so for example, Sun Life, okay, email to and then let us just put a subject. Okay, and then click on send. Let's ignore. Okay, so let's see if the flow will run smoothly. Okay, so yon. The status is your flow run successfully. Okay, so you can also check what happened during the flow. So there is an inbox. So I received an email and then it created a file to, yes, this is the file that was sent to me, and then this is the path where you can see the attachment. Okay, so di ba sabi it is saved in OneDrive. So let me open my OneDrive to check if it is there. So email attachments from Flow. Okay, so there you go. This is the sunlight. Okay, so um, since we were already done with this flow, every time that I will receive an email with attachment, this will run automatically, and all of the attachments will be saved automatically in this folder, email attachments from Flow, in my OneDrive. Okay, so that's how simple it is to build a flow from template. Okay, so what if we want to do, by the way, you can check on the different flows that you have here in the My Flows. Okay, so these are the flows that are currently running. Okay, so what if I want to create from scratch? Okay, so let us try to create, for example, I want to post a message in Teams when a planner task is completed. Okay, so let us create an automated from blank. So, ang trigger ko is that when a task is completed in Planner, so I can search for Planner here para yun yung magiging trigger ko. So, when a task is completed, so this one, so let me create this. And then, the group ID. Okay, so if you are already familiar with Microsoft Teams, di ba, you can add Planner as a tab here. So I have here in my sample team, I have here a planner which is product launch event. Okay, so this is a planner. So meron tayong mga task dito. So ang scenario ko is that when a task here is completed, it will post a message to Microsoft Teams. So depending on which channel that I choose. So again, how do we do that? Okay, let us retrieve first regarding the planner. So nasaan yung planner ko? I have it here in my sample team. And then the plan ID. So, ano yung planner na gagamitin ko? So, I have two planners kasi in the sample team. So, I will use the product launch event. Okay, so and then create a new step. Okay, so for the action, I want to post a message in Microsoft Teams. So, I will select Microsoft Teams and then ano yung action natin? Okay, so post a message. Okay, so this one, post a message. Okay, so again, ano yung team na pagpo-postan ko ng message? It is the sample team. And then which channel? So for example, I want to post in recruitment. Okay. And then you type here the body of the message. For example, nerd task titled. So, ano yung you will search for a dynamic content. So, ano yung mga um, dynamic content that we can have. So, we have here, for example, the title of the task. So, ito na lang. Yan. And then, what will happen? It is already completed. Completed. Okay. So yan, let us try to check kung may warning or errors. Okay, so none. So let us save it and then let us test it. Okay. So let's go to Microsoft Teams. And then, so for example, this one, this is the task, the post-launch. Okay, so ang progress niya is still in progress. So if I want to mark this as completed, okay, and then close it. So completed na yon, di ba? So let us see if it run. So, okay, so yung flow natin run successfully. So let us try. Again, pwede nyo siya ulit i-check isa-isa on what happened. So, this is good if you are starting. So, para ma-familiarize natin isa-isa yung mga triggers, yung mga inputs and outputs, you can check on this whenever it runs. So, para din makita natin kung meron tayong error. So, dito din natin makikita kung saan tayo nagkaroon ng error. Okay? So, yan. Let's see if it is posted in our team. So, again, sinabi ko dun sa recruitment siya mapopost. So, there you go. So, this is the message. So, planner task titled post-launch is completed. Okay, so yan. That's how simple it is to create from scratch. Okay, so what if I want to create, so for example, whenever a form is submitted, I want to notify the respondents that they have successfully completed or answered the form. So, how do we do that? Okay, let us try again an automated flow. But this time, gusto ko namang maging trigger is Microsoft Forms. Okay, so ito, I have here when a response is submitted. So, I will use this and then create. Okay, so pick a form. So in my Office 365, I have different feedback forms that I created. So I will choose the event feedback form. Okay, and then I will now create a new step. Okay, dun sa next step natin, since yung ang kinuha pa lang natin is the form ID, di ba? Kung ano yung gagamitin na feedback. So, let us get the response details for that one. So, again, to get the response detail, we have to get it from forms and then choose the get response detail. Okay, so ano yung magiging form natin? Event feedback form. And then yung response ID natin. Yung dynamic content niya, ang available lang naman is the response ID. So you click on it. And then, ano yung next step ko? I want to send an email notification. So let us select email. And then, the only option we have here is to send an email notification. Okay, so let us choose this. And then, to. Okay, so yung to natin, this should be the respondent's email. So why do I have it? Who submitted the form? Let me check again. Okay. So this should be the responder's email, and then the subject should be, okay, it's not working. Let me check on. Okay, so for this one, I don't know bakit hindi nagko-connect. It should display all of the forms that we have in the, I mean, all of the details that we have in form. So I tested it yesterday and it is working. So, ngayon, baka may nagawa lang akong mali. Anyway, so, you can go ahead and use this. So, as simple as this, when we select on the subject, so yung subject should be, for example, yung form submission lang. Okay, simple as form submission. Title lang naman to eh. And then, for the body, you can select from the content dun sa form natin. So, for example, you can select yung overall satisfaction nila or yung suggestion for improvement. You can insert it here as part of the body. And then, when this is okay na, you can go ahead and save it and then test it. Okay, so what will happen is that when you submitted the form, so for example, let me check on that form. Sige, this one, the live event feedback. Okay, so when someone answered this, let's copy it and then paste it here. Okay. So that when someone answered this one, automatically isa-search ni Flow isa-isa yung mga dynamic content here in the form, and then ito na yung magti-trigger on kung sino yung papadalhan niya. So, for example, this one, I have your responder's email. So, when I put an email here, dito sa flow natin, when you put the responder's email here in the to, so, when he submitted the form or when someone accomplished this form, it will send a notification to the responders. Okay, so how does it look like? It looks like something like this. Okay, so parang ganito. Like this one. Okay, so it should look like this. Your form has been submitted and the overall satisfaction with the event, extremely satisfied, suggestion for improvement, good job. Okay, so this is how it looks like kapag nasubmit yung form. Okay, so I'll have to check later kung bakit hindi nag-okay yung form ko. Okay, so I think that's enough demo on how you can create from a template and how to create from scratch. Okay, so let me just let me stop sharing, and I would like to introduce my colleague Jonathan to help us to have a quick demo on how you can use a premium connector HTTP to integrate your flow to um, to integrate your flow. Okay, so the scenario that he will be making, Jonathan, go ahead. Please share your screen. Okay, so the scenario that we would like to have is to send an updated number of COVID cases and then getting that data from a certain website. Okay, so Jonathan will use an adaptive cart and an API connector. So again, HTTP is a premium connector. Okay, so there. Okay, so go ahead, Jonathan.
Hello po, good afternoon. Good morning. Sorry. So, on my demo, so by the way, I'm Jonathan, pre-sales engineer from Field Data. And today, on my demo, I'll create a flow that will notify users about COVID-19 results. So, our first step is we will get the data from the Department of Health Laging Handa website. So, ito yung website ni DOH. So luckily we were able to get information from this website because someone creates an API for this. By the way, for those who are not familiar in the term, an API is an interface that enables the applications to exchange data among each other. This is also, this is the reason why we're able to integrate third-party applications to our own applications because of the API. So what does API looks like? So it looks like this here. Yeah. So how will Power Automate capture the API result? Or how can we get the data from the API? For this kind of scenario, we will use the HTTP connector. So I already created the flow, but before I run it, I'll explain first the components of my flow. So for on my trigger, I use the manual trigger of flow, and then on the next step, so here's the HTTP connector. So to get the result of the API, we will use this connector. So here, just paste the URL here on the URI. So bale, pupunta ka lang dito, ika-copy nyo lang siya, yung link ng yung URL ng API, then go back to your flow, paste nyo dito yung URL, and since we're requesting to capture the data, just select the get method. Okay. So once done, we will use uh, the parse JSON. So this connector, we will use this to get the data individually. So in order to do that, we need to complete the required inputs. So from the content, from here, you will just insert the HTTP body variable. So ito siya. So pag-click, kung mapapansin nyo, pag-click nyo dun sa content na text box, ayan, mag-a-appear dito yung mga available variables na pwede natin gamitin. Ayan. So for this, parse JSON, i-click nyo lang yung body and then malalagay na siya dito. And then for the schema, it requires the API structure. So instead of manually creating a data format of the API, so copy nyo lang yung result, copy, then go back to your flow, uh, click nyo yung generate from example, paste nyo yung result ng API, and then click nyo yung done. And it will generate a data format automatically. So since we're sending COVID results, so instead of sending users a plain text result, how about the look and feel of our email notification? So for the graphical representation of result, uh, instead of using HTML and CSS, we will be using adaptive cards. Okay. So confirm ko lang po kung nakikita niyo yung adaptive cards na page sa
Yes,
screen.
Janet. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So we will be using adaptive cards. So Microsoft provided us this kind of tool to easily create UI content in a common and consistent way. All you have to do is to go to adaptivecards.io/designer. Then from here, just drag and drop the control you need for your output until you make this kind of layout. Ayan. So, bali, create na ako. So, ganyan yung gusto kong itsura ng magiging email notification ko para dun sa mga sasendan ko na users. Ayan. Okay, let's go back again to our flow. Ayan. So, we're done on the parse JSON. And then, as you can see, meron tayo ditong compose. Right. So we use compose to put our script here instead of inserting the whole script in the Outlook. Okay. So kung mapapansin nyo dito sa adaptive cards designer page natin, from the bottom, may makikita kayo dyang code. So every time na nagle-layout kayo, nagge-generate siya ng code. Ayan. So copy lang natin siya and go back again to your flow. Then before you paste it on the compose, uh, you need to add this first, this script type tag, script, and then yung ito, the beginning and the ending of script. Then after that, doon nyo palang i-paste yung code na galing sa adaptive card designer page. And then once done, replace the variables on the respective location. Yan. So for example, to display the country, yan, nilagay ko yung variable dito. Yan. So I used formula expressions for the date and time. So instead of date and time, I want to display it as date only. Yan. Then once done, our last component of my flow, yung send an email. So for demo purposes, I indicate my own account, then subject, the subject, COVID. So I put COVID-19 update, and then for the body, okay, make sure you will select the HTML view. Then once na ganito na yung itsura, doon nyo palang may ilalagay yung outputs. Then once done, so check natin kung ano yung magiging resulta ng flow. Okay. Wait lang po tayo sa loading ng page. Yan. Okay. Run ko yung flow and then yan. Okay. So it's successfully run. Yan. So kung mapapansin nyo, naka-receive ako ng COVID-19 update email notification tapos ito yung result. Yan. So I'm done na po, Miss Riza.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan. Okay, so for this example, again, we used a premium connector, HTTP, and plus we also use adaptive cards. Okay, so let me share again my screen. So what we have done so far is we had um, an example, we created an example of an automated flow from template. We also had um, automated flow using blank, and then we also created a complex flow using a premium HTTP connector and adaptive cards. Okay, so I guess that's it. For next steps, we encourage everyone to explore on these links to help us on our journey with Power Automate. So we have here customer stories. You can also connect to Power Automate community, and then you can also check on what's new in Power Automate, and then Power Automate videos. And we also recommend that you take the Power Automate training on Microsoft Learn. Okay, so we now proceed to the Q&A.
Before we finally end the program, may we request everyone to please And take out your phones and scan the QR code on your screen right now. And please fill out the feedback form in exchange for tokens attending this webinar. And thank you for joining us for today's webinar. So the tokens will be delivered to your emails to the contact information that you provided on the feedback forms. For just sending the feedback forms, you will also be getting a GrabFood voucher for your attendance. Once again, thank you. And if you have additional questions or would like to connect with us directly, you can connect with your account managers or you can email us at sales@fielddata.com. You can also follow our official social media handles. We are on LinkedIn, Twitter, and on Facebook for some updates. And I will also would like to take this time and opportunity to invite you to our next sessions, the Power Ups and Power BI webinars. Once again, thanks everyone and good morning. Please enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.